No witam. Po koszmarnie długiej przerwie wracam z kolejną wywiadówką, ale pierwszą w formie telekonferencji. Przez to, że pierwszą są pewne niedociągnięcia natury wizualnej, ale wyciągnąłem już stosowne wnioski na przyszłość. A sama rozmowa wyszła chyba nie tak najgorzej i mam nadzieję, że się Wam spodoba. Przed Wami 3 przesympatyczne i jakże utalentowane panie z hordu TVINNA. Hello, everyone. Today I'll have the pleasure to discuss lots of various stuff, I guess, with Fiona, Fieke, and Laura of the band TVINNA. Hello.
Hello.
All right.
Hi.
Yeah. Hope you can hear everything just fine. All right. So at the very beginning, my very first question is actually going to be pretty cliche, I think, but I'm going to ask it anyway. So do you do you hate reviewers so much that you decided to create a band that's impossible to classify and put a label on?
That's not a cliche question.
That's a nice question. We haven't had that before.
I mean, why the hate? I mean, it's really impossible. I mean, even if I could, I mean, even if I wanted to, even if I tried, I wouldn't be able to do that. So why?
It wasn't on purpose.
Oh.
I think we just threw together everyone's influences and out came our sound. But we didn't plan on how we wanted to sound exactly, and we didn't also say before, okay, let's create something that's not definable in any musical known way. I guess.
No,
Yeah.
not at all. Actually, we were just following our our inner urge, or what we really felt in a certain moment, especially when writing together. You know, one of us had a certain idea and we just kept following it. We never said like, no, I really dislike it. We were just like, yeah, that's interesting. Let's put it in. And yeah, we never had any purpose to create something that one cannot define. Not at all.
All right.
No, but we clearly weren't going for like a particular style or like, okay, let's try and fit into that subgenre because.
Yeah, that's pretty clear. Yeah, I guess. Yeah. I mean, what's the weirdest label you've been assigned so far?
Oof.
Well, I think there is no weird label, but what I found really interesting in an interview is that someone asked us why we're not labeling ourselves as folk. And Fiona actually answered in a very interesting way, because we actually have no really folk instrument in our music, except maybe like sometimes, and only in like 2 songs, we have the overtone flute, but that's it. So actually we don't have like big folk influences or like instruments in there. So that's probably the reason why we don't call it folk, but people probably assume that we're doing folk because of our backgrounds.
Yeah, precisely. Yeah, you've got folk background, but this is not folk music, definitely. I mean, I guess I could hear some folk or folkish vibes here and there, but these are just, you know, bits and pieces. So I definitely wouldn't call your music folk. I mean, one of the first labels I saw was actually, I think it was dark pop or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you consider your music to be having the dark pop influences or some kind
Definitely.
of dark pop
I think
vibe?
we have the dark ambient, the dark also pop, because some of the songs are really related to how pop music is probably built up, and so I would think this is a genre where you could also put us, but we've been also labeled with progressive, which is a real honor for me, because I like progressive a lot, and it's usually pretty complex music. So yeah, and then we also have the metal thing. So, you know, I understand your problem. That's a lot of influences coming together here.
Yeah, no, I mean, I honestly hate labels. I mean, they are obviously there for a reason. I mean, reviewers need them to be able to classify stuff. I mean, it's always easier for people when they can put a label on something and put something in certain category, right? So that it's easier to, I don't know, recommend stuff to people, etc. But personally, I hate doing that. So I mean, I sometimes do it, but in the long run, I try avoiding that. I really love the idea of combining the let's say the traditional, even archaic stuff with the modern touches that are pretty contrasting, and adding these weird you know, out of the world sounds to the whole mix. So you said you didn't have an exact idea, but I guess that there must have been a certain moment when you decided what you wanted to actually sound like. And so what was it? And what was it, let's say that the defining moment, and what happened?
Actually, there really wasn't. I mean, it's probably like, I think one could compare it to like a drawing artist, or you know, you just have this moment where you think like, I really want to draw this lake because it's so beautiful. And maybe for us it was like, we really want to make this, like we really want to make music together. And it was just everyone drawing, kind of throwing their skills into the swamp, and that's what our music became, or was born like, because we just had like our skills and our memories, our experiences coming together, composing.
And did you have any moment that, you know, you said, no, that's too much, we can't do that? Anything like that? That's overdoing it?
No, actually, we dared to do everything we wanted.
Yeah, I mean, at some point I remember our drummer, you know, coming up with some really really heavy hectic drumming, and we were a little bit insecure in the beginning, like, you know, is this maybe too much, I guess.
Yeah,
just for a minute, but we kept it in, and it ended up fitting. So yeah.
You mean like the stuff in kites, or?
For example, yeah. There's also really heavy drumming in 12, but everyone is kind of playing heavy stuff, so it's not so noticeable there. Yeah.
All right.
In the end, it is because we have not limited each other in you know, bringing in their ideas, which is a very nice way of working together, actually. So everyone is allowed to come up with any idea, and the rest will support it, and in the best case like it. But I think we liked everything that everyone brought in. I cannot really think of an element that I still dislike or something. It's
not at all.
Just really equally, you know, shared the influences.
It's really eclectic, and yeah, I think I might even say I think it's one of the most eclectic things I've listened to in quite a while. Yeah, and you definitely can be called progressive, because, you know, a song has to be above 5 minutes, 5.5, I think, and it's can be called progressive. So yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I think that's the definition. Maybe I'm wrong, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it is the definition. So okay, so that might be a bit tricky, but and I'm actually addressing this question to each of you individually. So basically, which TVINNA is the most your TVINNA out of everything? Where do you feel like the strongest connection? I mean, like particular tracks, because I guess for each of you it can and probably is a bit different, right? Yeah. So it's like an amalgam of all of you. So
yeah, different and hard, because I mean, I think every song has a very different mood and appeal. So on some days I really feel very attached to a song, and that might differ on another. day, but I think the most TVINNA is probably Kreitz. Yeah.
Yeah.
The song I personally feel most torn to is Inside the Dark.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, any particular reason for that, or?
Yeah, well, I mean, Kreitz is really kind of grew, is really influenced by each one of us, especially the three of us, but also Raffi, who brought this song to another level, because until like before he touched the song, it was only kind of a shamanic short song, and we didn't know where to go. And then he listened to it, and he added the guitars, and it put it on another level. It was really like, oh my god, it blew our minds. Like, yeah, this is where it has to go, absolutely. And then of course, like the drumming, and then our awesome guesting with Eivør. The song is really, it's crazy. And Inside the Dark, I mean, it really is such a delicate, dark song, and handling like very, very delicate topic with handling like the loss of unborn life. And there's also the heartbeat of my daughter in there. So yeah, I mean.
Oh, really? Okay,
Yeah,
didn't
you
know
can
that.
hear it in the end. When she was still in my belly, actually, we recorded it. So it's very personal, but it still gives me actually goosebumps, like sometimes tears when I hear it.
I can imagine. All right. That's pretty interesting. All right. So Fieke, how about you?
I guess, I mean, I wouldn't, you know, say like a particular song is my favorite, but what for me is the most TVINNA is the big contrast between the kind of really feminine, dreamy parts, and then going really, really dark and loud and powerful.
Right. Cool. And Fiona, how about you?
Yeah, that's also a really nice answer, Fieke. I would have probably said something pretty similar than Laura. So going for Kreitz as the most TVINNA-like song, like the prototype of a TVINNA song would be Kreitz probably for me. But I know that every song is really, really different. I mean, there are songs on this album that are so different from Kreitz. And yeah, at the moment I have this absolute favorite song, Wild Hunt, in my mind all the time. I just can't get over that song. And yeah, but it also changes from times to times. It really depends on the mood of the day, and yeah. So it's a very hard question.
All right. On the topic of Kreitz, since it's been mentioned quite often, it's in Old High German, right? That's the language of the lyrics. So it's pretty interesting for me. Since I'm a linguist, so basically, yeah, those kinds of things are actually pretty interesting for me. So why such a choice? And basically, how did it feel creating in a basically non-existing language?
Well, we kind of felt that Old High German would be the language which would kind of fit the best, and we actually adore the language. It has such a magic appeal to it. It really sounds super beautiful and super unique. And I remember that Fiona, we like the basic melody. Actually, we jammed together, and we needed to write some lyrics for it. We didn't have any, and we talked about like which lyrics would we like. And as it felt like a spell, I don't know who came up with it, but somebody, I think either Fieke or Fiona, because I didn't suggest that it would be nice to have something in Old High German. So yeah. So we wrote them. We wrote the lyrics ourselves, and it took a lot of research and effort putting that in.
Because especially Old High German is, compared to Middle High German, is pretty seldom to find any, content or even, something to read in that language. And the very interesting thing about singular words in Old High German to me is that you kind of, as a German native speaker, you can really dive into the root of a word, and you reflect on, okay, this is the actual meaning that the word had so long ago, and you see what it's become. nowadays.
Mm.
But if you have a look on a single word in Old High German, you can kind of feel the depth of the meaning, which is really beautiful, and also gives the song some deepness, you know.
Yeah. Plus the language itself, I guess, already gives this pagan feeling, right? Because of how archaic and old it is, right? So I don't know if you've if you had any experience with, for instance, Old English. And I mean, this is really hardcore. I mean, it sounds absolutely nothing like the contemporary English, right? So it even sounds more German than English. I mean, it's the same family of languages, so kind of natural, but yeah, still. And yeah, I wanted to ask you one more thing previously, and it slipped my mind. You mentioned Eivør. So how was it working with her? Actually, she's one of my favorites. I think she's one of my favorite singers and one of the best singers I was able to see live. So yeah, I'm actually kind of fond of her vocals too. So how was it working with her?
So I worked with her in her studio a couple of times in Copenhagen, and I ended up playing on her album, and we worked on some music and some songs that are still somewhere in the air. You know, when we asked her to sing for Kites, I think it took her only one to sing her parts, and it was immediately what ended up being on the album. So she did great. She really, you know, hit all the right notes, and I particularly love the kind of beatboxing thing she does. So we asked for that especially.
Yeah, that sounded really nice, actually.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. And on the topic of clips, which one was more fun to do?
Yeah, that's funny, because on the one clip we were all involved. So so this was obviously a lot of fun on the beach in Denmark.
Oh my God, yeah.
And so this was also the first real, you know, action we shared together. Like, we had this little house there in Denmark, and you know, and our first clip. So I think this one is very impressive to all of us. And the second one was actually shot here where I live, and I was the only person to be here and direct the actual clip, so we didn't share that that thing, which is a pity. But the second one was also really nice to do, but we chose for not being in the clip ourselves.
All right. Yeah. So but you had some influence over the final outcome, right? So even though you're not actually
all the influence, because
Sorry?
Fiona wrote it, like Fiona wrote the screenplay, if you call it so, herself. So Fieke and I were lucky enough to give feedback, but you know, we didn't have to give a lot of feedback because it was really nice already. So we were like masters of it all ourselves. Like there's nothing in it we would not like stand behind 100%.
All right. And yeah, on the topic of your backyard, basically, Fiona. So how was it filming a clip basically in your backyard? So
it's really practical, because you can always take a little coffee break and go back in the house, and you have no people that come up and want to watch what you're doing. So that was really nice in private atmosphere.
All right. How long did it take, by the way? Roughly
2 days for the clip for Kites. Yeah.
That's pretty fast, I'd say. Yeah, I think
I mean, only recording the thing.
Yeah.
With that, we're not talking post-production.
No. Obviously, yeah. I mean, like, you know, on the set stuff. So. Yeah. The next bit I wanted to talk to you about is, it's kind of tricky, because it's you know, perhaps a bit silly to be talking live shows given the circumstances that we've got now. Yeah, but let's try and forget for a second that, you know, about the whole situation. And I know you're planning to be playing your stuff live, right? So what can we expect from a TVINNA live show? I'm a concert photographer as well, so I'm especially interested in your answer here. Is it going to be like, you know, a traditional show, or maybe something special? You've got something special in mind?
I think it will be eclectic too.
That's pretty mysterious.
Yeah. We will cross the borders of realities there.
Yeah.
Definitely.
You mean like, I don't know, burning corpses, stuff like that, or no?
No. We won't be doing any rituals or something.
Oh, we were talking about this, no, but not with burning corpses or any.
Burning skulls, maybe, at least something burning. I don't know.
Yeah, probably something. But you know, the theme of the album is water, so maybe we will
Unfortunately, I know. But, yeah. But that's dangerous, you know, near electricity. So I thought maybe fire is a safer bit. Yeah. So yeah.
We have a very, very good light technician on board in our crew. And he's a true magician on his light desk. He has a lot of cool ideas as well.
Cool lighting is definitely something I'm interested in.
Yeah, definitely. No, we're also, you know, also the songs one can hear already on One in the Dark. We already rehearsed them, and we can at least tell that we have live versions and we have the album versions of the songs. So yeah, like I said, we already rehearsed, and we were already so eager going live with the music. We still can't wait.
Yeah, I know. I know. I heard. So yeah, but still, yeah. So are these versions going to be very different or just slightly different? You know, your live versions.
In some cases, slightly, and in some songs, we will add some extras that differ.
Yeah,
a lot, but it won't be completely different, of course, because everyone wants to recognize the song and know where they are.
Because I'm interested in how difficult it is to transform basically what you've created. I mean, the studio versions into a live performance. So is it very difficult or just?
I mean, in the studio you can layer yourself, so you can be there multiple times at the same time, which of course live is another thing. Luckily, Raffi is really gifted with his loop pedal, so you know, he can create duplicates of himself on the go, which is amazing. But no, we will you know, get really close to the sound on the album. You know, a lot of things that we've done are recreatable live on stage. And for some things, we'll use some trickery maybe, but you know. I think it will be really amazing. And we, can we say this? We bring someone extra just to...
Yeah.
You can say it. If you don't want it later on, I'll cut it out, so no worries.
We will make sure, because we don't want to, you know, of course, using something like backing tracks or like, you know, stuff that goes along is really, you know, everyone is doing this, but we want to make it as minimal as possible. So we actually bring someone extra, so we don't have to do it so much.
Okay, that's really cool. But you're not bringing Eivør with you.
I guess
I haven't actually asked. What a good idea.
Yeah.
Now really looking forward to it, and you know, fingers crossed. So someday, I'm hoping I'll be able to shoot your show basically, and that's the plan. That's the plan. I've got a small task for you actually right now. So I'm really fond of, let's say, atmospheric black metal and post metal, but I'm also a huge fan of metalcore and dark electro. And I'm also really interested in these ritual folk bands like, you know, Fondum, Vardruna, Heilung, etc. So given that, which 3 songs of your album are my favorites? What do you think?
Ooh.
of your, well, oh my God.
Yeah, that's basically my background. So which three of your songs do you think I like the most?
Okay, all of us name one.
Okay,
Could be.
definitely Inside the Dark, just only because of the beginning. It's it's just such a dark synthy. This would be my guess.
I would call Suna.
That's pretty.
I'm not saying anything yet, so I'm just waiting for your answers.
I would
Inside the
say-
Dark is it's one. It's one. Yeah.
I would go for. Oh man, it's really hard. Should I say 12 or Kreuz? I say Kreuz.
That's also correct. And we're still missing one.
Yeah, no, I said Suna, but
No.
not right. Two-
Actually, Laura, you nailed them both. Actually, yeah. So it's. By the way, it's 12 or 12? Which one is it?
12. We say 12, but one can say. I mean, you can also say 12, of course, or 12 because it's the numbers, right?
Yeah.
So probably everyone is saying it in their very own language, which is nice. And this is also the reason why we spelled it that way.
True. I mean, if I were to pick, because like we said, it's it's all very eclectic. I think the direction you took on Kreuz and 12, this is like my favorite direction. So this is like where the music resonates most with me, basically. Yeah, but I like it as a whole. So and 12 is actually really amazing. I mean, it's so metal, even though it's not. But yeah, I really love it. Okay, so
definitely look forward to play this live too.
sorry.
Yes.
We look so much forward to play 12 live because this is going to be such a mess, I think.
That's really.
You're going to have a mosh
like really
pit.
kicking ass.
That'd be great.
Yes, I would love that.
A wall of
shout out
death, I
everyone.
guess. Yeah, all that stuff. I mean, why not? It's all a matter of how much alcohol people drink. So, oh no, I haven't said that yet. But all right. Anyway, one final thing, and we're done. Because One in the Dark is you call it chapter 1 out of 4. So my question is kind of obvious, I guess, at this point. So by chapter 4, it's the end of the band, or
No. No.
End of the world.
Yes.
Yes.
No, but it's chapter 4, or chapter 1 out of 4, where we are putting like the big topic life into music.
Mhm.
So One in the Dark focuses on the first chapter of life, and we have 3 more to go. And what comes next is, we still keep it open because we were just inspired to put life into music, and then we have another thing, most probably, which
okay.
we are inspired by.
So basically, there is a next, and that's my question, basically. So,
Yeah.
We're not a project. We're a real band. Like, we're not just together to make this music. We're together because we're together. Yeah.
yeah, that's cool. That's cool. No, because that sounded really ominous. Like 1 of 4 chapters, and are there going to be any other? Right. So yeah, just needed to clarify that. Thanks a lot. Yeah, that was a really nice talk. So yeah, I think.
Thank you for having us.
Yep, no problem. I mean, it's online, so yeah, I didn't even have to clean up or anything. So yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, thanks a lot.
Mam nadzieję, że się podobało. Kciukujcie, komentujcie, subujcie. Dziękuję za uwagę.